Keith, hey, congratulations on your new film, The Haunted Forest.
Thank you so much.
Hey, more of a congratulations being showcased at Frightfest in the UK. I mean, how does it feel for you?
It feels amazing. Honestly, I don't think it's really sunk in yet. I'm here in London already. I'm sort of getting myself psyched up for the premiere, but I sort of can't believe that it's really going to happen, and I won't believe it until I'm in that room and that movie starts to play. And even then, I don't know if I'll really believe it. It's really cool. It's really exciting.
You know what? This is a film that's perfect for the festival. But tell us initially what drew you to this film that you wanted to direct it.
I mean, it came from that place. The place where we filmed the movie. It's a real haunt in Maryland. It's called Markoff's Haunted Forest. It's been there forever, and it's run by my cousins, the Markoffs. So I've sort of been aware that it existed for a long time, but I didn't go to the Haunted Forest until well into adulthood, and I was just completely blown away by this place. I mean, you've seen the movie. It's gorgeous. It's elaborate. It's all these different scenes. It's all set in the woods. It has this amazing main circle with these bonfires and carnival games and delicious food. It's like a I don't know. It's like a horrific Disneyland built by scratch in the Maryland woods. It's just an incredibly special place, incredibly unique. And I was there with my brother. This is almost 10 years ago now. I was there with my brother Devin McEwen. He turns to me and he says, "We got to make a movie here." And I said, "We? What do you mean we? You're not a filmmaker." So, so he and I sort of developed the story together. He gave me really important notes on the script. It is kind of, in some ways, his vision as much as mine. But then, once we were at the screenplay stage, he sort of let me run with the ball because I'm the filmmaker in the family, and I hope that I did justice to his vision.
That's actually amazing. So the location came first before this story.
Yeah, and I recommend that, to be honest. I mean, I don't know how much of your audience are filmmakers, but start with the stuff you have, whether it's an actor, whether it's a location, a cool prop. Always start with what you have. It's so much easier.
So how did you end up in the end securing this location? I mean, was it an easy convince?
It was easy to convince them that it was an interesting idea, and it was not necessarily as easy to iron out the details because we didn't just want to shoot there. We wanted them to really partner up on this film, which they ended up doing. I mean, they really are a full partner on the film. They gave us access not just to their space, but to their resources and their staff. So it ended up being like a true collaboration. But honestly, just communicating with the three Markov brothers can be a challenge because they're very in the moment. Wherever they are, whatever they're doing, that's where they are. So they're not great about like checking their emails. So it was challenging, but I think once we all got on the same page, it was actually a really fruitful collaboration.
The location itself is a character by itself, but how do you create a film surrounding with this location? Because I want to say you don't have room to maneuver. You don't have room to manipulate
Mm.
their facilities.
Yeah, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. I mean, because they were full partners on the film, they could actually make modifications if we needed something. There wasn't a lot of that, but there were a few times where we actually had to sort of customize a space to make it safer or to provide a special effect. Like there's a jet of fire that you see at one point that was added for the film. It doesn't really exist at the forest. I think they have some fire stuff, but that particular jet was something that we put in there. Um, and the other thing that you can do, of course, is you can choose how you're going to shoot something and you can sort of transform a space that way. So there are times when like the sequence of scenes in the trail is pretty different in the movie than it is in real life, just for storytelling purposes. So there are things you can cheat, there are things you can fudge, and then occasionally we really would get Nick Markov to come in and just customize something at the last minute. And because he's just an incredible genius, he could he could do it. He could come in and with one tool in 5 minutes, he could fix anything, change anything that we needed. He's a Superman.
So I'm under the assumption when you actually started filming this that this was during Halloween season. You didn't want to interrupt their business.
Yeah, we started filming on their last big night of the Haunted Forest. So they run through Halloween every October, but their biggest night will be the Saturday before Halloween. So I think it was the 27th, something like that, right? So we did film that night because we wanted the crowds, right? We wanted like actual, we were certainly not going to pay for hundreds and hundreds of extras, and they get, I don't know, thousands of people through there every night. So we wanted real crowds, and we even shot some dialogue with real crowds, but also a lot of B-roll, second unit footage. We didn't have a second unit, but you know what I mean. So there was a like a day and a half where we shot with the actual operational uh, forest, and then there were a couple days where they were still open, but we didn't want to shoot there with crowds, and so we had to go off and shoot other stuff that was not set at the forest. There wasn't much of that, so that was actually a challenge. And then we came back once the forest was all shut down, and that was when we had free reign. We had the run of the place and just all the help that we needed.
How challenging was it to shoot with the crowds, and especially the fact of nighttime shoots? It's most of your
Mm.
film.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had the most amazing cinematographer in the world. This guy, Aitor Mendilabar. It's our third feature together. And he just makes magic happen. I mean, we did not have a lot of money, we did not have a lot of lights, but he made stuff look beautiful. And we had a lift. I think the lift was provided by Markov's. And so we had a one big light. I think the moon, especially in the main circle when we were doing our main circle shoots with the crowds, we had this. Our biggest light went up on a lift, and it looked pretty scary all the way up there in the air. But of course, these were all trained professionals, and I guess it gave you the diffuse moonlight, right? So we didn't want that cheap look where the moon is right in the actor's face, where it's sourcey. So we needed that light to be as far away as possible. Here's me trying to explain cinematography. I'm not a cinematographer, but the bottom line is hire Itor and he will fix it for you.
You mentioned that you use regular people as a lot of the extras, but can you talk about the casting process for here, because it seems like you kind of blended with the certain people in the cast for your film.
Absolutely. Yeah. So a fair number of cast members are non-actors. They're family members, they're friends, they're staff members at Markov's. That's probably more than half the cast. The main roles are mostly played by professional actors, people who auditioned. There was a lot of remote auditioning for those main parts. For the smaller parts, it was mostly auditioning in person, or it was people that we already knew. And some of it happened last minute. I mean, there are like 39, 38 or 39 speaking roles in this movie, and we had most of them cast on day one of shooting, but not all of them. And so some of it really was, me calling my cousin Matt in a panic. Hey, we need a guy. He's got 6 lines. He has to be at the school on Monday. And Matt's like, all right, I'm on it. And, Monday, his staff member shows up. This guy, Nathan Lastman, never acted before that I know of, certainly not a professional actor. And he killed it. He was absolutely hilarious. So there are like wonderful seasoned actors in this movie, and also people like total amateurs, including my brother Devin McEwen, actually, who has some acting background, but he's not an actor. And he was fantastic, and it was so gratifying to get to do that.
I'm curious, was that house also on the premises?
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So that the house that we shot in is actually Alex Markov, one of the three Markov brothers, lives in that house. And I think they were a little vague on when we would be coming in to shoot there. So, so I think it was a little bit of a thing where we show up with our full camera crew and our cast, and they're like, "Oh, are you shooting in our house tonight? Okay, we'll get out of your way." Which is not, it's not the system that I recommend to filmmakers, but that's the way things work down there. Like everything is pretty loose and spontaneous, and somehow it all happens.
Now, what is your personal love for this type of genre, the horror genre?
Mm. I love the way it takes place. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of slasher films in particular because horror is an incredibly broad category. But I think slasher films are a perfect example of like a heightened cinematic reality where if everything in a slasher film feels completely real, it's almost too horrifying. Then there's no room for humor. There's not that much room for character development. If it feels totally real, it's not really entertainment. But of course, if it feels totally fake, then it's sort of shallow and disposable, and maybe it's entertaining, but you forget it the next day. And so I love the idea of operating in that middle space where it's real enough that you feel invested in the danger the characters are in, but it's also artificial enough or heightened enough that when there is a joke or maybe a kiss at an inappropriate moment, or maybe there's a kill that's a little bit funny, the audience feels like they can enjoy other stuff than just being scared. So yeah, I sort of think of a slasher film as, or at least the ideal slasher film, it's a little bit of a cinematic buffet. There's a little bit of something for everyone in it. Or at least I hope so.
Well, then let me conclude with one last question because there's always that ongoing debate, especially with horror directors, practical versus CGI. And
Mm,
obviously, I want to say you are very practical in this film.
yeah. Yeah, we had very, very limited CGI. And when we did have CGI, it was stuff like, removing wires. It was, little refinements. I think we did enhance one blood splatter, but enhance, not create. We enhanced. Yeah, I mean, practical effects are more fun. They tend to feel more real. They provided the most joyful moments on set by far. Like when you're in that room and that window shatters, it's the most exciting thing you've ever seen. And then you watch the playback and you see it on camera, and it's just, I can't describe the experience. You just feel like a kid again. The blood guys are spouts, and suddenly everyone, it's 4 a.m. and we're exhausted and we've been shooting for 13 hours. And then the blood guys are spouts, and everyone could go hours more. Everyone feels electrified. I can't explain it. You can't get that from CGI. So I don't know. I think selfishly, I want to be there in that moment when the blood spurts off. And if we add it later in post, I feel cheated.
Well, we can tell you love your craft. So, Keith, thank you very much for speaking to us about the Haunted Forest. Enjoy the film festival for Fright Fest.
I will. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.